opportunity that is available to MCB consumers. If you are an active case, that's great. If you're in our VR program, after you hear what's presented here this afternoon and you want to reach out to the agency, we will be glad to put you in our VR program and get you in touch with our counselors, and we'll definitely give you the opportunity to participate in this self-employment opportunity today. So we're going to start out with some brief remarks. You're going to hear a presentation from our folks at National Industries for the Blind regarding the program. Then we're going to follow up with a question and answer period. And then towards the, then we'll have some closing remarks from Commissioner and Kevin Lynch from NIB. And then we're going to, for those of you who want to stay and learn more, the NIB team and myself will be staying on for a little bit longer to answer some more questions and take down your information so we can arrange for some more in-depth interviews and information for you. So again, thank you for attending and looking forward to spending the next hour and a half with you folks. And hopefully we're going to learn a lot of new things. So we're going to start out with some opening remarks by Commissioner David D'Arcangelo. Commissioner.
John, thank you so much. Thank you for your leadership and what you and your vocational rehabilitation team do for our agency, our consumers, and the Commonwealth. I do want to recognize and thank Kevin Lynch and your team from National Industries from the Blind, who we're going to be hearing from soon, Steve and Tom and the rest of the group. Thank you all for what you do to promote opportunities for our consumers. And to everybody else, thank you. Thank you for joining. We think this is a great opportunity. Let me give you a little bit of background. So we've had a strong relationship with the National Industries for the Blind for several years, MCB. And NIB, I'll let them tell you about themselves, but they're a national organization that already has developed very strong marketing, product lines, self-employment through the Ability One program. So they have a demonstrated track record here. So when MCB had gone out for some reallotment projects, one of the projects that we wanted to investigate more was what it would take to really have an entrepreneurial business model. So we did that, and one of the things that came back from that study is what Kevin and I started discussing, and that was opportunities for our consumers. We have some now that exist, for example, with our Randolph Shepherd vending program, where consumers join and they can become their own sole proprietor, selling sundries and convenience items in public office buildings. So again, MCB has a demonstrated record of being able to have small business opportunities. Well, what we have today is really an extension of that and a little bit of an innovation on it too, where this is going to be, it might not be for everybody, but I think everybody by now knows that Amazon isn't going anywhere, right? And buying things, purchasing products online is really the trend of the present and the future. It's not going away. So what we've tried to do is work with NIB and leverage that in existing product lines that they have. And I think you're going to be encouraged by the approach today. More specifically, many of the barriers that exist in this area before, because John, to his credit, John and our team and MCB have worked to try to get some of our consumers as an Amazon reseller or on eBay or other types of endeavors. And many of those have been challenged because of the nature of the systems really not being as accessible as many of our consumers need. Well, NIB has done a great job of making a system or systems that are very accessible for our consumers, which I think makes this a little bit of a unique opportunity and presents a great upside for many of our consumers. So with that, and to let's get into a little bit more specifics here, I'm going to turn it over to Kevin Lynch, who runs NIB. Kevin.
Thanks, David. You know, I'm really excited about the opportunity to be here today. I want to thank you and John. You guys have been amazing in terms of working together. And, you know, I think the key thing about all this is you're really helping to make a vision come true for NIB. we've been around now for 80 some odd years, and, we're known for a lot of different types of employment opportunities. But what we're really hoping in this particular endeavor is to offer the next level, something that I personally have wanted to see us be able to accomplish, and that is, can we help create opportunities for those who are really out there that have an interest, that have a desire and a drive to be a business owner? And one of the things that I think that we're hoping that we're going to accomplish as we go through the presentation later on is that, as David mentioned before, it might not be for everyone, but the one thing that I do think that will be beneficial is there is an opportunity here where I'm hoping that we have a model that individuals can utilize to go through the process of what it's like to run a business, to operate a business, to manage a business. And, we're going to use the e-commerce platform that we have developed here, that we utilize to fulfill the requirements for government agencies throughout the United States. What I think that there's opportunities here in the Massachusetts area is to take that same capability, but put it under a business owner who can then go out and promote this as a for-profit entity that will benefit from the utilization of the goals that the state of Massachusetts has, as well as many corporate entities in terms of supporting disability-owned industries. Now, one of the things that we have also been able to do here at NIB is develop a really great relationship with Disability In. For those you might not be aware, Disability In is a association that works together with for-profit corporations, Fortune 500, Fortune 100 corporations, to get them to support the employment of individuals in their corporations, or through the purchase of products or services from disability-owned companies. That's part of their diversity initiatives. So one of the things that we've talked with the commission about, that we will also want to pursue, is to get this type of entity, the ownership, to be certified as a disability-owned business that will allow us to then utilize that to help promote, market, and support that operation, that organization, that business to be successful. I can't tell you, hopefully you get the sense that I am really excited about this. I'm hoping that there will be an interest. I am really, I can't say enough about MCB in terms of the fact that they have been really the organization out there, the government agency out there that has been innovative and progressive enough to help us hopefully achieve what we want to achieve. So don't want to spend a lot of time going over, but I wanted to make sure to all of you that you get a sense that I'm fully behind this. I think this is a great concept, and we're going to let our team here at NIB go through and explain to you a little bit more about how we see this all working, how it might be something you might be interested in. So again, John, David, thank you so much. Really appreciate this.
All right, thank you so much, Kevin. And just for those folks who came in after the program had started, please keep yourself on mute your phone, mute your computer. We'll have an opportunity to answer questions as we move further into the presentation. We'll also be staying here after the presentation is over to take additional questions and spend more time with individuals who are interested. So right now we're going to move on and continue the presentation. Tom Lyric. We've worked together for a lot of hours before this presentation, and looking forward to watching your team present. Tom, it's all yours.
Thank you, John. Thank you, David and Kevin. So we have three main goals for the next about 20 minutes where we're really going to go through some of the details. And so goal number one is we would like for the participants today to be able to take away the main concept of the initiative. The second goal is we want you to meet the folks that are involved in this program, and you'll be able to hear from many of us today. And then the third and the last goal is we want to talk about the training that we designed, because much of this program is also about the training modules and training opportunities. And so I'm going to ask that MCB put up the slides. We have several slides that we're going to walk through, and we'll tell you about what's on the content. And I want to also introduce the discussion and briefing team. We have Steve Bryce, who is NIB's CFO and also oversees our e-commerce initiatives. We have Jonathan Lucas, who heads Insight, and he's going to be able to help us understand a little bit about some of the details of the training and how we're connecting that. And also on our discussion team is Lewis, who is involved with our e-commerce business and platform. All right, let's go to the next slide, please. So on this slide is the agenda, and it is the main areas that we're going to go over. The training module, the web platform, so you can understand a little bit about some of the mechanics, the order process and product assortment, and Lewis is going to talk with us about the web platform and the order process. We also developed a candidate profile and an entrepreneurship characteristics and trait to talk a little bit about self-employment and running a business. And we're going to go through that a little bit. We also did a special meta-analysis about some of the traits of entrepreneurship. So you can hear a little bit about what distinguishes running a business and having some of those kinds of traits. And then we also reserve some time for questions and answers at the end. And so that's our agenda. Let's go to the next slide. So our training module has 3 steps, a 3-step module. And the idea is that the candidates we're going to bring in and we're going to run through sort of the training. And what I'd like to do is ask Jonathan Lucas to talk a little bit about our training concept. And on this slide, we have outlined 3 sort of modules. So Jonathan, if you don't mind, let's spend a few minutes and talk a little bit about our training concept.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tom. So as Tom mentioned, we have a 3-step process here to get folks trained to become entrepreneurs in the e-commerce field. Now, NIB's had a long, rich history of training people, both on the workforce side and professional development. We've trained over 9,000 people over the last about 12 to 14 years. And that's why we're bringing in some of that knowledge into this particular initiative. And it starts with PROMOTE, which stands for Professional Mastery of Office Technology for Employment. This is a program we've run for quite a while, and we've been quite successful running this program for people who are blind and visually impaired. This program focuses on giving individuals the basic office skills that they need to be successful. So we're talking about Microsoft Office Suite, how to use Excel, how to use Word documents, how to use PowerPoint, create PowerPoint presentations. And again, all of this is how you can do this with your assistive technology, using your assistive technology. We also want to ensure that people are good with using Google and search engine optimization. So when you're going out there and you're working and you're trying to create business, that you're able to do that successfully. The use of email, the use of sites like LinkedIn and other social media sites. And the goal is really to not just give you these skills and in sort of a basic setting, but to also create a mixture of formal classroom instruction with rigorous time-sensitive project-based work, so asynchronous work outside of class, so you can understand how to utilize these tools, but in a real simulated setting where you very akin to what you'd be doing in the workplace. So this project, promote for this project is 4 weeks long, this particular training, and again, it's a combination of asynchronous and synchronous learning. The second piece of this is sales and marketing. So it's important as entrepreneurs to how are you going to now take this particular business you're creating and then go out there and market that business and make sales, right? So we are working with an industry leader on a sales training that we're going to implement later on this winter. And this will give folks, again, through a multitude of ways, in-person, online training, as well as asynchronous learning on various modules on sales techniques. And this, again, it's sort of the second brick in the foundation after you get through the promote training, learn the basics of office and computer use, then move on to running your business. And then lastly is this platform specific training based on our Oracle system that we use currently. It's web-based, cloud-based software that, again, that's not our expertise in my particular team, but we will be bringing that expertise in through other teams within NIB.
Thank you, Jonathan. Let's go to the next slide. So in terms of transition, before we get into the platform and the products, we're going to talk a little bit about the candidate profile. So we've done a roll-up. We've written a position description. We've done a roll-up of the candidate profile. So will be responsible for day-to-day operations of the e-commerce operations, involving using entrepreneurship skills, customer service and order management, finance accounting, and application of technologies. And a lot of the training, the 3 training modules will help. We believe that 2 to 3 years experience in technology or customer service will equip the best candidate. And we've identified qualities, abilities, and knowledge as leadership, sales and marketing, planning and decision-making, and also really having comfort with customer service and technology. And this is a bit of a roll-up of the position description that we have developed. I'm going to now turn it over. We're going to go to the next slide to Lewis and Steve. We can go to the next slide, please. And for the next 5 or 6 slides, Lewis and Steve are going to talk about our web platform and the products. And before I turn it over to Lewis and Steve, I want to just say, wow, we have over 55 people attending, and it's really a lot of excitement around the initiative. So Lewis, if you don't mind, why don't you take us through the next 4 or 5 slides? Then we're going to go into a little bit about our entrepreneurship traits, and then we'll open it up to questions and answers.
Great. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate it. Steve, I didn't know if you wanted to say something before I started with my slides, or do you want me to go ahead?
Go ahead.
Great, thank you. So the next couple of slides really talk about what Jonathan mentioned, which is platform-specific training. And our current e-commerce platform is a cloud-based technology built on top of Oracle Commerce Cloud. It's tailored, it would be tailored using abilityone.com, which is an e-commerce site that is in use today, like Kevin mentioned, for our federal government buyers. So if you want and have some time, you can take a look at abilityone.com. That's what the platform would be built on or tailored on. It's a user-friendly layout. Accessibility obviously was a big concern of ours, and enhanced security as well. Next slide, please. And so that's the technology and the platform that we're talking about. And essentially the training, the platform specific training that we would be focusing on is training an individual on how to pull up orders, place orders manually, look at inventory, order fulfillment process. When the order comes in, it comes into our Oracle EBS system, and then purchase orders are sent electronically to our suppliers. The user would have to be trained in those type of different areas so that they can pull up orders, look at suppliers, look at purchase orders for statuses, for tracking, and any cleanup that would be necessary if an order is for whatever reason is stuck in the system. So that's some of the things that a user would need to learn to navigate our Oracle platform. Next slide, please. And I believe, so some of the product assortment that we currently carry on AbilityOne.com include a lot of the office supplies that are used in the federal government that today people are using at home as well, including binders, clipboards, a lot of the printer paper, envelopes, that sort of stuff. That's what this slide is representing. And the next slide, I believe, is the other type of products that our website carries. Again, because this would be a specific initiative, we don't know yet whether it's going to be the full assortment of products or if it's going to be specific customers, specific clients that an individual would be working with. But the platform is customizable enough that we can launch a catalog with office products and cleaning and janitorial supplies, or a specific type of catalog, right? If you're talking to a specific customer that's only interested in office products, then we would leave out all the other cleaning and janitorial supplies if necessary. But this slide is just representation of some of the other items that are currently carried on AbilityOne.com. Next slide, please. And Tom, I think that was it as far as the platform specific training. So I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Louis and Steve. So in terms of transition, a lot of also what they talked about is the electronic data interchange. And we are going to help the participants with the training and understand how to do the order execution. This slide, we have it's labeled entrepreneurship characteristics. So at NIB, what we did was we did a meta-analysis. We also consulted with Jonathan and his group, and we identified, although there's not complete agreement across any study, like what are the ultimate traits of an entrepreneur, we put together 7 which seem to be the prominent ones. And we thought it's also a good way to sort of end the formal discussion of the program. So number 1 is ambition, and that's a drive and a motivation to be successful. Number 2 is creativity. So what the analysis showed is many entrepreneurs are very, very creative, and they're comfortable with the development of new and innovative ideas and solutions. One of the key attributes is tenacity, about never giving up, understanding, involving, and dealing with losses, and understanding that success also means learning from failures. The 4th is intuition, and that's understanding what's coming down the road when you don't necessarily know where you're going to be ending up, and trying to produce the right kinds of answers when there's vague questions or situations. The 5th is something that is called self-efficacy, and that we actually have done some training in other areas on self-efficacy, particularly in Jonathan's side of the house. And this is where a person has a belief that they can perform roles and tasks, and they understand what are the expectations and goals and motivation, and they can manage themselves in that kind of environment. The sixth, and this is also something that comes up from different kind of business development, is having an active social strategy for networking, being able to activate that and be comfortable with it and have excellence in building and developing networks. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be a salesperson, but understanding that there's a strategy in understanding relationships and networks. And the last is risk tolerance, that you're comfortable with a higher level of risk in scenarios in terms of developing a business and entrepreneurship. So we're going to leave you with some of the entrepreneurship characteristics, and we did a little bit of an analysis of some of those traits. Why don't we go to the next slide? So on this slide, and this is also going to be distributed, we have our contacts. Myself, Tom Larrick, I'm helping to lead this initiative. And it also includes many of the folks that you heard from today. Jonathan Lucas, who's the executive director of Insight, Lewis and Steve, who are helping with our e-commerce and distribution programs. So I think what we'd like to do is we can take our slides off of the screen, if you don't mind, MCB, and we can spend the next 10 minutes or so answering questions or addressing some other specifics. And I see Christopher joined us. Thanks for joining us, Christopher Burke. We will turn it over to Jonathan, who's going to help moderate some of the questions. And I already see there's some hands that are being raised. So Jonathan, I'm going to hand it back to you as the moderator, and we can address any questions or comments.
All right, Tom, and thank you, and a great presentation. Keep an eye out for the hands. So we got some hands raised. Why don't you call out the name, Tom, and we will take the question.
Okay. Well, if I'm reading the panel correctly, we have two questions, or I see two hands raised. One is from William, and the other is from Masha. So why don't we start with William?
We'll take William first.
Yeah.
William, go ahead and unmute yourself. Go ahead.
Hi, this is William's wife, Kimberly, and William's right here.
Hello.
Hello, William. How are you?
I'm good. We both just had a question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So I was watching this with him, and I'm actually also disabled but sighted.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering, since owning a business is, especially in a marriage, teamwork, would I be allowed to do this training with him if he was decided that he wanted to move forward and be part of and to take this opportunity?
Tom?
Jonathan, can you talk a little bit about our approach to training in terms of, individuals and I guess accessibility?
I'm going to talk about this Jonathan. I got a couple of Jonathans on here.
Yes, Jonathan Lucas, if you don't.
You call me
if you don't
John,
mind.
Tom, and we'll call Jonathan.
Yeah.
We'll stop the confusion. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Thank you. Yeah, so a great question. And from my perspective, I would say the answer is yes. So all of our training, obviously our expertise is providing training for people who are blind and visually impaired, but I've also have a long history of supporting people with other disabilities. And so, that's, we can definitely do that when we help veterans and disabled veterans as part of our mission. So, I agree. So, as somebody who does a lot of entrepreneurial work myself, that it is a family affair, right? So I appreciate your question, and we can make it as seamless as possible.
And William, you are registered with the Commission for the Blind, correct?
Okay.
Hi. My case has been closed for some time just because when I closed my case with them, we were going to try and start a business, and then we had kind of a home disaster type situation. So my case has been closed for some time,
That's
but I mean,
okay. We can always reopen your case if this turns out to be something you're interested in. So we'll just, once you stay around after, we're gonna have a little after session and we can get more information from you, okay?
okay, that sounds great.
Can I
All right,
just
great.
jump in for a quick second, John? So what
Yeah.
I would say to William and others is, we are here to support you. And so there's a number of ways to do that. Obviously, we have rules and regulations from RSA, the Rehabilitation Services Administration, where we get our VR dollars. But what I would say is, generally, to your question, generally, yes, but it's probably going to be a case by case thing where we're going to need to go through and we're going to need to talk about it and everything else. We don't want there to be barriers. What we're trying to do here is provide access to opportunities for people. So let's have a dialogue about it, what I would say, and any case like that where it might be a wrinkle or something, because at the end of the day, everybody needs support. That matters. Whether you're working in a 9-to-5 job at a company or punching the clock, or you're an entrepreneur, everybody needs support. We know that. And we're there to support you all.
Okay,
Great,
Marcia,
thank you.
Marcia, you're up next.
Hi, a couple of questions. One is, I was still a little unclear about what exactly we would be doing in the business. Is it basically recruiting customers, getting customers to go through us to buy from that Ability One website? And what value would we be adding to the products, or would we be just a middle person? And also, is there going to be any kind of provision for organizing to get group health insurance for people who do this?
Tom.
Okay, so we have assembled our group to answer a couple of the different questions. First, this is an e-commerce platform in terms of selling products and commodities, and so being able to develop the different business and customers is going to be a large part of the initiative in running the business. The other thing is that in terms of the product offerings, some of this is going to be a little bit of a mix. We've talked a little bit about some of the products, and Lewis talked with you about what the variety is, but we might try to create a slightly narrower product mix, so it might be easier to sell, at least sort of initially. But we have our full offerings. On the question about benefits, I think maybe Steve might be able to address that. It's also probably something we have not really totally fleshed out on our end. Steve, did you want to provide any insight on how we might?
So we're still working this out. Each organization would probably have to set up its own separate corporate structure or be part of another entity. And there's different ways in which we could identify ways to get to benefits as a private business, small business.
So Tom, if I can step in for just a minute, because
Absolutely.
I thought that was an excellent question or questions, and help us kind of try and explain a little bit more. So what we're really trying to accomplish here is, yes, we want to utilize an e-commerce platform that we have developed, but we want to customize it so that it is actually the person or persons who own the business. It will be your website. It will be identified as your website. And what the expectation is that you're going to be able to take this capability to be able to provide customers, whether it's a state agency, a local government agency, or whether it is a for-profit commercial company, that what you would be able to do is go out there and say, I have the capability to provide you the products that you need to be able to perform your mission, your business, and do it successfully. So your added value is to provide that customer service support. And what the platform will do is provide you with a portfolio of what I call solutions that the customer or customers are looking for. Now, as far as the benefits and so on, we will go through and work with you on that to try and develop. And that's part of the training, what it takes to actually own and operate a business. But the key thing is that this is setting it up so that it's your business, and we want you to be successful. One of the things I really want to highlight is in the platform and what we provide, a significant number of the products, whether it's office products, whether it's janitorial products, whether it's dining and kitchen products that are purchased, many of those products are manufactured, assembled, and packaged out at our other agencies. So they are actual products that have been assembled, put together by individuals who are blind at our agencies. That's the primary thing. So it's kind of a win-win situation that what we're looking for. And that's what we want to promote to the customers through marketing and promotion that we will help support as you go forward. So we'll work out on all the things that, obviously take a look at how we might be able to advantage putting together benefit plans, benefit packages. That's all part of the things that we will go through as part of the training and the development to make this a successful thing. But this is an opportunity for somebody to really have a chance to control his or her destiny, to develop a future in terms of what they wanted to, what they foresee, what they really have envisioned going forward. So I'm really excited about this because I think that this is a great opportunity for those that really have the drive and the initiative to make it a success. And we're going to help you make that.
All right. Thank you, Kevin. And there was a question in the chat that asked about, this appears to be only tangible products. Can you take that, Tom?
Yes. So the model and also as Kevin just discussed, we have really sort of an open concept here on unlimited potential. It is based on product sales. And so the question, will you be talking about marketing for self-employed people in the service business? First of all, the training is going to address a lot of areas in terms of marketing and business development, but we are focusing on products. I also see in the chat, thanks for referring me to the chat, that there is a question from Jennifer Bryan, and why don't we go to that?
There, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to learn about this opportunity. I actually have a couple of questions. Me, myself, personally, I have over 20 years of biz dev, sales, marketing, and only lost my vision about 2 years ago. So, and I am currently involved in other ventures. I'm curious to know a little bit more about, taking on another initiative, which I love doing. Who is your target customer, and are we limited to Massachusetts?
She's thinking about the franchise already there, Tom.
You know I am, John. You know I am.
How are you, Jennifer?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Jennifer, if you're a consumer of ours, we're going to put you on a path. We're going to get you all this training, which has thousands of dollars worth of value, which, by the way, when you're done with it, you're going to know how to do e-commerce You can go on your own to Amazon, go on your own to eBay, go on your own. You can go anywhere. There's nothing that's going to hold you to that, right? We're trying to invest in you. I think one of the key selling points here is if right now, anybody here right now can go to Amazon and be an Amazon reseller, but go try to navigate their system using JAWS. Very difficult to do. Go on eBay, same thing, very difficult to do. Their systems are not accessible. We have an organization here that has spent, Kevin, is it millions of dollars? It's a lot of money making a platform that is accessible. And maybe you and Steve can speak that more. But to me, that's the competitive advantage. Not only are you getting the training and support from MCB, who's going to support you, from NIB, who's going to support you, give you the training, but then you're having access to a platform that is accessible. That's huge to me.
Yes, and I understand that. Maybe I didn't position the question correctly. Who is your target customer that you would be going after to sell these products on the e-com site that you've built? And is it limited to Massachusetts targets?
So maybe I can try and answer that question. But what we originally envisioned, and you know, how we got into this conversation with David and so on, we're going back a couple of years now, is that some of you may be aware a while back, the state actually operated through the commission Ferguson Industries for the Blind. And it was primarily serving what was then a state use program, okay? So there were opportunities and there were advantages through that state use program. Ferguson is no longer there, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to initially engage with David, is because we really feel that there are opportunities to create additional employment in the state of Massachusetts that we lost when, and rightfully so, that was an outdated model for us. So getting to answer your question, I think that there are opportunities to target state agencies. I think that there are opportunities for us to target local government communities, but I also want to target commercial entities. And we know in the Boston area and outside, there are opportunities. There are companies and corporations, particularly right now with people that there's a significant interest in DEI. And I think that there are ways for us to take advantage of all of that. So that's what we would really be targeting, to utilize the fact that this is a business that is owned, operated, and managed by individual or individuals who are blind. It is a for-profit entity and it is a standalone. What we want to do is we want to kick that off and make that successful. And it's kind of like, when you think about, and hopefully this is not a negative, because it's not meant to be analogy, but it's like, I remember when I trained my young son to ride a bike and I put training wheels on and we got him on the training wheels and eventually took the training wheels off and pushed them up. That's what I see us doing. Once we get that to the point where the training wheels are off, that's your business. We'll be there to help continue to support you, but it's your business. And the idea is that I consider if you end up being successful, then this whole program was successful.
Will we be incorporated as, or go through an business incorporation process as an individual, or will this sit as a 1099 under NIB?
Case by case, Jennifer. Some people may choose to go in and invest and start off with 10 employees from day one. Some may want to start out doing it part-time as a sole proprietorship. All different models will be considered. And back to one of the things Kevin said, I think one of the competitive advantage of entering this program will be Massachusetts is unique among the states where we have a business designation called DOBE. It's disability owned business enterprise. That disability in will certify any company that is 51% or more owned by a person with a disability. you can then use that as a competitive advantage to market. And to Kevin's point, many corporations are interested in purchasing from disability-owned business enterprise as part of their diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives that they're doing. Additionally, to what Kevin referenced, the public use law we used to have, for example, if you can get on the Massachusetts state contract with the municipalities and the state agencies, you can get enhanced scoring on so competitive opportunities. You can get more credit as a disability-owned business enterprise and have a little bit of an extra incentive to getting business. So those part of that is in the training that Kevin was talking about, but those are real competitive advantages that you will get by joining this program.
Okay, and then last question, since you mentioned disability in and DEI, which I'm very well versed in. Have you seen opportunities, whether it's partnering or leveraging Jill Houghton's team over there at Disability In and their extensive client list?
I would say yes. I see Kevin giving a thumbs up. I would say yes. But remember, they're a member-driven organization too. So
Right.
I think to an extent, I don't want to overpromise for Disability In. I think the point is, though, that there's going to be plenty of support from MCB and our team, from NIB and their team, to whoever wants to establish a business. And then it's up to you. It's up to the business owner.
Okay, and I think you mentioned we have the ability to make it as much or as less. So it could be a part-time venture to get it off the ground, so on and so forth. And if it, takes off in that direction, that's good, but we're not, the expectations aren't necessarily a 40-hour week and drop everything else you're doing. It could be maybe 20 to get going. Am I correct by that?
Absolutely. It's going to be a spectrum. It's going to depend on a lot of factors. Previous experience with e-commerce, previous expertise with using all the tools, all of those things, a person's ambition, all of that is going to create, kind of like everybody's own instance. And some people may start very humbly. Jeff Bezos started off selling books in his garage, and now he's the richest man in the world. So I think it's a big spectrum. And to me, I would just say, give it a try.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so
Jennifer,
much, John, David, and team.
Jennifer, thank you for your questions. John, I think we're going to go to Rick, who has had his hand up, Rick Sullivan.
Okay. Rick. Unmute yourself and. Okay, Rick, we can hear you now.
Okay, Rick, thank you.
All right, sorry about that. So I have a couple of quick questions. So are you, talking about one candidate to bring in and change? I might have missed that, and train, I might have missed that at the beginning. That's question one. Question two, are you talking about selling only Ability One products? And question three, are you going to be encouraging the ability to drop ship directly from the supplier through us to the end user?
Tom?
Okay, so your question spans a couple disciplines. Question number one, in terms of candidates, we don't have a set number. We're anticipating that the first year there's going to be probably around 10 or so candidates that will go through the training, but it could be more, it could be less. We're not just thinking about it as one or two, Rick.
Well, part of this meeting today is to gauge what,
Right.
How people feel about this, and who to help us get a feel for what the interest might be in this opportunity. So it is a vocational rehabilitation program. We do have funds to pay for the training, so we are trying to find individuals that are interested, and so we will be interested in speaking to anyone that is interested.
And then, thank you. And Rick Sullivan, your question number 2 and 3 go to both product assortment delivery and order utilization. So I think Lewis and Steve could probably address that. The best.
Yeah, I'll take that, Tom. So I don't think Rick, it would be limited to Ability One products, right? We can definitely expand it and include commercial products, which is what we do today. But our priority has always been with Ability One products, but we do have partnerships with commercial companies that will drop ship directly to the customer from the supplier.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Rick, thank you for your questions. Good questions. And then I think the next person in the queue is Dean.
Hello there. I appreciate you guys having this meeting. One of my questions, I think pretty much was just answered because I was wondering about the products, if they were going to be national brands or Ability One brands. So I appreciate that. Next one is really related to customer service, because no matter how good your products might be, problems happen, mistakes happen. So when a customer has something bad, how do we deal with that problem?
I can take that as well.
Go ahead, Jim.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that's a great question, Dean. We deal with that on a day-to-day basis today. And we have a team that deals with the customer, interacts with the supplier, and works everything that is necessary to either to do a credit for the customer or return to the back to the supplier, and eventually a credit to the customer. So that would be part of the platform training that we talked about, right? How does the individual do that in our platform? How do they communicate with the supplier, and how do we initiate a credit to the customer?
Okay. All right. Very good.
Thank you.
You got some
All right.
questions in the chat, Tom, if you want to check.
Okay, let's look at that. So we're looking at the chat. Someone said I'd like to go through the training. That sounds wonderful. What would it take for people to participate in this program who are not in Massachusetts? I don't know if we addressed that or not.
No, you haven't addressed that yet, but as far as it's up to you guys, you're a national organization. We're dealing with Massachusetts residents only at this point, and a collaboration with NIB. But every state has a vocational rehabilitation program. So whichever state you live in, feel free to reach out and ask your agency to speak with NIB.
Yeah, and thank you very much. This is Kevin Lynch. I would encourage you to talk to your state VR and really have them reach out to David and John to kind of get a little bit about how they've done it from the state, and then certainly we're open to talking to any VR agency and telling them that what we think we can do to help them.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent. John, I see we answered Dean's question. I see two other hands. One is marked as iPhone and one is marked as owner. So otherwise I can't. So owner, if you don't mind, and we can see you now, we'd be glad to address your question or comment. And you're muted, owner, if you can unmute.
Hello.
Okay, we had you. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Kopo. My question is, with this e-commerce, what are we supposed to contribute anything financially towards the business?
Tom?
So the training modules will be funded through the initiative. In terms of standing up the business as an entrepreneur, there are a couple different models, but it has a very low barrier of entry in terms of the connection, because we have the technology the e-commerce platform set up.
So in the vocational rehabilitation program, or in this case, MCB, would be able to assist of some of those other needs that you may have.
Thank you, owner. Good question. The other hand that just came up, it's just marked as iPhone, and we'll be glad to take your question or comment. Or maybe we addressed it already.
Still muted.
There's also several questions in the chat as well.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Barbara and Barbara Lomax, and a couple of questions. A lot of them have been answered, but I wanted to know the duration of the program and whether it will be during the day, full time, and also, do you have any idea of the start date? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
So the program we're currently developing, again, trying to find the interest, and I think NIB is prepared to offer training. It can be discussions have been, or considerations are being made for local training, but also some of it will be out-of-state training. Tom, if you want to go ahead and pick up on the training part.
So we talked about the 3 training modules. We're looking for a mid-spring launch. We don't have an exact date, but it's going to start with the 3 training modules in terms of the candidates and graduating through the training, and then coming into the business activities.
Does that answer your question, Barbara?
Yes, and thank you for sharing this information.
Absolutely. Barbara, thanks for your question. Really,
Sure.
really good question and comments. So John, I just looked at the chat. I think we answered everything in the chat, unless I missed.
I think we have it.
I missed something. And I don't see any other hands.
Okay.
Were there any
Tom,
other questions in the chat that we didn't address?
Tom, this is Lewis. There's one from Dina. I think we missed from the chat. She's asking about how long is the training, and will MCB provide technology to set this up at home?
Okay.
Why don't you take the how long is the training part, Tom?
Yeah. Jonathan is with us. So why don't we talk a little bit about sort of the training timing and our concept. We talked a little bit about this earlier too.
Yeah, so again, promote is 4 weeks in length, and we can work once we sort of understand how many people we're going to train and the time frame. We can work to set that up at a time of day that's amenable to most people. The sales training is in formation, so it's hard to say the duration of that training, but we would guess it's somewhere around that same amount of time. More to come on that. I can't give you a definitive answer there. Lewis, do you want to talk about your ideas around platform training?
Probably the same thing, Jonathan, about 4 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks.
And there's also going to be a flexibility in terms of some of this will be virtual, will be delivered with partners, locally, and also in terms of the platform and business related. As our platform works, that will also be delivered. There's opportunities to do that on site with the experts here. All right, good. Very good question. All right, I think we got through all.
Let me take the other part. The other part about equipment.
Yes.
Yes, obviously, if we send you if vocational rehab sends you to a training program, you'll be provided with the equipment that would allow you to establish this self-employment opportunity. So we'll definitely discuss that, and that equipment would be available. All right, if there's no more questions.
Well, actually, I did re-raise my hand.
Okay, go
So,
ahead, Dina.
And
Go ahead.
the question's actually for you, John. as Dave mentioned, you know, I mean, he did mention the Randolph Shepherd vending program, of which I am a vendor of. Would I be able to start training or go through training without having to give up my location to decide whether or not this was for me?
Okay, that's a specific, very specific question.
Well, it's specific to Randolph Shepherd vendors. There may
Right.
be other on the call, so.
Yeah,
Right, we would-
I'm gonna say no, you don't have to give up your, I think you can probably do both at the same time, at least to see if it's for you. And then at one point, you'll probably need to make a determination, what am I gonna spend most of my time doing? But we're definitely not kicking anybody out of any programs or anything. No, 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 no. This is about
Okay.
providing access to opportunities, Dino. Thank you.
Okay. Yep, thank you.
That's right.
Okay.
And also, you know, this is really a training-based initiative. So we're very happy to provide training opportunities, particularly these 3 modules that we designed with a lot of focus. You know, completing the training in of itself is an enormous benefit.
Okay. All right, so we'll be here again.
There's a few
for-
more people with hands raised. This is Dina. I would like somebody to answer the question about what the commissions look like for selling these products. But I know there's 2 other hands raised as well.
Okay, well, Dina, we'll take yours, Tom, and then we'll go to the other hands.
Okay, so
I put my hand down, so I'm good.
okay. So Dina's question is what is the commission rate? We have a pricing and percentage structure that we have developed. And there's a lot of details, you know, surrounding that. It might be a little bit more technical for this conversation, but Steve, maybe you could just talk about like sort of the broad concept.
Yes, this is not fully defined because what we want to do is we want to be able to provide a commission that's guaranteed and try not to have an at-risk type commission. Meaning, you know, it's a commission where you if you make sales, you get a commission, but there's no risk if you don't make sales. We're trying to put this package together and we have to figure out the total cost, our cost, which we haven't found out totally yet, to run the program so that we can recover our costs and then make certain that there's a good margin available to whoever the operator of the websites would be. So yeah, it would be a commission based on the sales. And I don't have a number, unfortunately.
So maybe one of
Okay.
the things I can do to also kind of address that, what we're trying to do is try and eliminate as much of the risk as we possibly can. You know, when you start out on a new venture like this. Now, you can't eliminate totally everything, but we're trying to minimize to the greatest extent. So one of the things that I think is going to be key in order for this to be a real success is that the individual, the advantage of the individual is that there's really no upfront cost for the platform, carrying inventory, doing any of that. The incentive is, and what really is the value add that this type of business provides is going to be the customer service and the customer relationship building. What we end up doing is we take, after you get the transaction, after you go through and you understand the customer needs and you help define what is the solution that works best for them, then what we can do is we then will be able to provide the actual delivery of the product to that customer. So when you take a look at it, is the real incentive on the person or persons running this business is for you to develop that customer relationship, for you to convince the customer that we're going to be able to provide solutions that meet his or her needs. And if you do that, that's the value add that you're providing, and that's the margin that you get for doing that. Now, somebody could get into this and not really spend any real significant energy or effort. They're not going to be investing any of their own money, their own dollars. They're going to be investing their time. What we really want to make sure is that an individual that comes in to do this is that they view that their time is valuable and they want it to be successful. So hopefully that helps kind of explain from our perspective of what we really see the incentive. We're trying to reduce the risk that you're not owning the inventory. You're not really having to support the platform. But what we need you to do is go out there, build the relationship, be able to take care of the customer service end, and make it something that is very valuable from the customer's perspective. And then we're going to provide a valuable solution to them.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you. So I see one last question. It says iPhone Carrie. Did you have a question or comment?
Yeah, I had a question. How much flexibility would there be in terms of the training? I am very interested in this, but I would not be able to travel out of state. I would want to do the training virtually from home. I have young children and a part-time job.
We're building in flexibility.
Yeah. I would say sorry, Tom.
Go ahead, Jonathan.
From Insight's perspective around the promote training and sales, we will, due to COVID, these are already trainings that we've completely moved online. So you'll be able to do that from any location.
Fantastic. Right, thank you.
Well, I must say we reached our 3 goals. Much of today was to have a takeaway about the concepts, and we were able to do that. You were able to meet the individuals that are working on this initiative. For NIB, providing varied and unique opportunities for blind workers is very important to us. And this has been a really, really rich discussion. And our last goal was to hear about the training that we've designed and how it works and some of our experiences in that. So we've reached our 3 goals, and we had some great questions and comments. I think what we're going to do to close out the discussion is both Kevin and David are going to give some closing remarks and observations, and then we'll also, a smaller group will stay on for a few minutes afterwards. If there's some sort of additional sort of one-on-one questions that folks had, we wanted to make the team available. So John, I'm going to throw it back to you to help us close out the session with David and Kevin.
Very good. Kevin, why don't you go ahead and give us the closing remarks?
Thanks, John. All I want to do is just thank everybody. I encourage you to take a deeper dive and look into this if this is something that's interest for you. And if there's anything from NIB standpoint that we can do, work with John and David, and we will get back to you and hopefully answer any questions or concerns that you have. But really take a look at this, because I think this is a great opportunity, something that we're very supportive, we're 100% behind, and we want it to be successful. So again, thanks to David, thanks to John, we appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Kevin. Commissioner, it's all yours. Wrap it up.
Thank you, John. Kevin, thank you and your team, Steve and Tom and everyone who's worked so hard on putting the platform together, the training materials together. This is breaking new ground, and we're trying our best for you, all of our consumers and stakeholders, to adjust with the times. Because again, as I began, ordering from Amazon and eBay and ordering online isn't going anywhere. If anything, it's going to continue to increase. So the fact that we have a system here, both the platform itself, but additionally the training and the support offered by MCB, offered by NIB, we think it's a great opportunity. We understand that entrepreneurship may not be for everybody. But what I would say is give it a try, because even if at the end of the day, you go through it and you try it and maybe it doesn't work for you, you're still going to have skills that you can then market to other organizations, whether it be they have e-commerce programs or, you're going to learn in the program how social media can help provide marketing opportunities, about establishing all of the online advertising that you need to be able to do. All of those skills are going to help you be more saleable and really build your resume as well. So whether the entrepreneurial piece is your cup of tea or not, well, that remains to be seen. But either way, we think this is a worthwhile endeavor to building your skills. And really, this is the modern marketplace that is accessible for our consumers. It's not perfect, but it's definitely much more accessible than many of the Amazon program that's out there now, or the eBay program, things like that. So we'd say if you're interested, come and talk to us. We'll open you up. If you're not open as a consumer already, we'll open you and we'll lead you through a vocational rehabilitation path that presents you with opportunities. So we're there to support you. We're going to take everybody on a case-by-case business. It was a great dialogue here today, and there's so many. We have 25,000 consumers. That means we have 25,000 separate cases as far as I'm concerned. Every individual is different. So come and have a conversation with us so we can try to tailor this to your needs and see if it's a right fit for you. That's what we're trying to do, is present our consumers with opportunities of all kinds. And this is an innovative one to be your own boss and own your own business. So
all right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And so those of you who are interested in staying for a little more information, and primarily we're going to take your name and we'll contact you. Those who are not interested, then you can drop off now, but the NIB team is going to continue to stay here, ask any additional questions, more specific questions, but we're basically going to take down your information and reach out to you, and so we can continue the conversation one-on-one.
Thanks, John.
So,
All right,
Tom,
thank you. Thanks,
folks-
everybody.
Yeah. So we'll give you a few minutes so we can just stay with the folks that are interested in having a continuation of the dialogue.
Yeah, raise your hand. iPhone Carrie, I think, did you have another question, or was your hand raised from the previous question?
Oh, I guess I forgot to put it down, but I'm
That's
I'm
okay,
interested
Carrie.
in,
You got to lower
I'm
the
interested in learning more anyway.
Okay,
so-
great. Then stay on the line
Yes.
here and we'll be sure to get your information. Others, I see William's iPhone has another question. Kelvin.
He's here. He's going to stay.
Kelvin, Dino.
Carla, if you can jot down the people's information once we.
Calvin's here.
Yeah,
thank
Calvin,
you.
I got you.
Yes.
Right, I will make a list of contact information if you would like to share it with us, and you can also share it in the chat.
Yeah, we basically, if you guys are an MCB client, we just need your name, and we can look you up on our system. We can call you back, so you don't have to share any other information other than your name.
Okay, good.
All right,
I raised my hand so you can write the name down.
we got you.
All right, Dino.
I
That's
see.
good.
Calvin, do you have a question?
No, Calvin is interested in participating. So Calvin Abron is his name.
All right.
Yeah, so I'm all set. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank
so,
you.
Yeah. I
Let
mean,
me
what
know
they're
my
doing,
hand.
just sort of booking some of the,
You're unmuted.
Okay, so
some of the-
only
some of the
folks who are
candidates.
interested, just stay in so we can take your name. Others, please.
This is
Hi,
sorry.
this is Barbara Lomax. If you can take my name down.
All right, Barbara.
Thank you,
Okay,
Barbara.
thanks, John. Okay, bye.
And Tracy, we see that you have your hand raised. Tracy Duarte.
Hi. I am interested. I'm sorry.
Tracy, go ahead.
Go ahead, Tracy.
Okay. I am interested in the program. I work with, do you need to know who I work with?
No.
Okay.
You have an active case now here?
Yes.
Okay, so what's your last name?
Duarte, Duarte.
Okay. You got that, Carla?
We have got it. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
All right.
I am Mashari.
Yeah, hey, how are you?
I am fine, Mashari. I am interested.
You what?
I said I am interested in the
Yes,
training.
that's
Okay,
great.
and then, are you working with someone here at the agency now or not?
Yeah, I'm working with Priscilla.
Priscilla, okay.
Terrific.
You got his last name, Carla?
I do. I think we are all set on that one.
All right. Anybody else interested?
Hey, John, it's Brian Cunningham.
Hello, Brian. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. You
Yeah,
interested
I just
in?
wanted, I am, yep, I just wanted to add my name to the list.
All right.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank
We
you.
see that Rhonda has her hand up. Did Rhonda
Yeah,
get at it?
Rhonda Mincy, you're interested?
Hello.
Rhonda, you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
We
Yes,
can.
Rhonda.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at it, but I just wanted to stay on and learn information and also be able
Do
to
you have any,
share.
do you have any additional questions you want to ask?
No, I just want to listen more and then maybe I have some that I can contact because I right now don't have an active
Okay,
case.
so we'll take your name down and then we'll reach out to you and we'll give you more information, okay?
Thank you.
Hi, this is William.
Hi.
I said before, my case is closed right now, but I'd like to reopen it and get this going.
We'll just take your name and then we'll have someone reach out to you, okay?
Thank you, William. What's your last name?
Poger. It's spelled Pogor.
And what town do you live in, William?
I live in Boston.
In Boston.
You
Okay.
need a phone number too?
No,
or-
no, we're good. Unless you've changed it. Well,
No.
unless you've changed it from when you worked with us last.
No, I haven't.
Okay, we have it then. Thank you.
Thanks, William.
And thank you guys for the opportunity.
All righty.
Thank you.
So I'm in the same boat as William. My case is closed, but I'm interested. I'm Carrie MacDonald.
Yeah,
And
Gary, it's fine.
my phone number is 617-538-3540.
Thank you, Carrie.
Yep.
All right, we'll reach out to you, Karen.
Thank you.
Are you still in Weymouth?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, we got you. All right, great. Thanks.
Yep.
I
Anybody
gotta
else?
tell you, the deputy commissioner is getting bonus points here. He knows where everybody lives. He knows all this.
So
I would say that's very dangerous, actually.
who else is interested?
Go, go, go.
This is Rick Sullivan. I put my contact information in the chat.
Okay.
However, I am in Chicago, so
You're in Chicago, okay. Are you familiar with the lighthouse?
I am an employee at the Lighthouse.
Oh, you are, okay.
Yes.
Very good. It's a
Very
great operation.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah. All right, we'll reach out to you and talk about the program and give you more information. Your VR agency, I'm sure can reach out if that's we can talk to them and David can talk to them and we can help out.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Rick. Anybody else that we need to get their name?
Hi, John. It's Jennifer Bryan. I put my information in the chat to proceed further.
Yeah, how did you make out with that insurance thing you were working on?
I'm licensed.
It's working out?
It's
Nice job, Jennifer. Yes, that's
Excellent.
good.
Excellent.
coming along. Thank you.
All right. Well, we'll reach
Jennifer,
out to you.
you'd be perfect for this program.
She's a go-getter.
You could sell snow to Eskimos.
Well, it depends if you can add some flavor on it. Sure.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, Jennifer.
Hey,
Thanks.
John and Dave, this is Tom Conoscenti. I'm also wanted to get some
Hi,
more info
Tom.
on that as well.
Hi, Thomas. Okay, another vendor. Yes, good.
You got Tom's name, Carla.
Pleasure to hear from you.
All right.
Thanks,
Take care,
Thomas.
Tom. Have a good
Got
night.
it, Tom.
You as
Hi,
well.
it's Couple, and I'm interested.
What was your name?
Korpo. I put it in the chat.
Oh.
Thank you,
okay.
Corpo. We got it. Yep.
Okay.
All right. Very good. We'll call you back. Okay.
All
I
right.
see our colleague Kobana has joined. Kobana, Bonnie, hi.
I've been here from the very beginning, Commissioner.
Excellent.
He's
Great
the
to
one
see
that
you.
said it's dangerous when I know where people live.
Yes, I thought that was him.
Are you,
Yes.
are you still enjoying Cambridge or have you moved?
Oh, I've been in Cambridge for 10 plus years.
I know.
So can I, yeah, I think I want to talk some more. By the way, I have a question. So
Go ahead.
given that I'm fully employed, etc., if I want to do this, is that possible? I know you have said people can open their cases. I don't know what are the limitations.
Well, we'll call you about it, okay?
All
Yeah,
right.
I think that's an opportunity there. You know, obviously your employer and the terms of that employment need to, you know, as long as it's fine by them, I would say yes.
Sure.
You know, this might start as a side business for people. And then as they get more accustomed to it and more skilled at it and more comfortable and start seeing results, it could very easily turn into something bigger. And I think you've seen many businesses, that's how many businesses start. They start out very humbly,
yes.
you know, and then they grow over time and it gets to the point where I'm ready to go all in.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Sure.
All right, Colleen, we'll talk to you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? I think we're good.
All right, good. You know, John, it was a great idea to sort of hang back for, you know, five or 10 minutes. I got to give John credit for that. That was a good idea. It was a good way to sort of, you know, follow up and make ourselves available. And Steve and Lewis and Jonathan, thanks for staying on a little bit longer in case we got some questions. I think what we can do is we could probably close out the session, and of course we will all talk with some follow-up. So thanks again, MCB, for hosting us.
Sure.
And I hope everyone enjoyed it, and also we'll have a good rest of the evening.
All right. Have a great night.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. Bye-bye.
See you soon.
Thank you,
Have a great
everyone.
day.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Carla. Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Have a good night.